Look beyond the Epstein files, for what they disclose concerns not just psychiatry, but the realm of demonology itself. The gravest error would be to approach the Epstein files only through the lens of psychiatry. Admittedly, from a strictly psychological standpoint, we encounter mental disorders, but only if we confine our gaze to the narrow scope of materialism. In truth, the Epstein files ought to awaken us to the plainly demonic dimension of these abominations. Most souls on earth profess belief in a spiritual realm beyond the material. Then reason itself demands that spiritual beings, both of light and of darkness, exert their influence upon the world. It follows by simple and inexorable reasoning that those most susceptible to the sway of dark spirits, whose aim is to divert humanity from its radiant destiny, are the so-called global leaders in both politics and business. And please ask yourself, if you wished to drive humanity toward the abyss, would you seize the reins from the passengers or from those who steer the chariot? I think the answer is as simple and elementary as reality itself. There are two kinds of so-called leaders who fall beneath the dominion of forces beyond the will of matter. First, those who willingly enlist in the infernal legions of the great adversary. Those who knowingly bind themselves in a pact with the devil. Then there are those elevated to positions of power precisely because their grave moral failings or even mental problems are well known. Such persons may not consciously enter into a pact, yet they become servants all the same. For when a person perpetrates acts of profound immorality, a portal opens upon the spiritual plane, a threshold, through which, willingly or unwittingly, one invites demonic powers to assume command. We ought not shrink from speaking of such matters. It is illogical to profess belief in the spirit and in spiritual beings beyond this earthly sphere, only to recoil from the notion that individuals may unconsciously attract or even consciously beckon dark, demonic entities into their own nature. To dismiss such discussion as fantasy is to betray reason itself. To the mind anchored in materialism, the Epstein files recount the tale of individuals with moral or mental afflictions, but nothing more. Yet, to unattuned to the realities of spirit, these files reveal how the train of humanity is derailed from its true course when demonic forces seize those at the helm. Of course, all this should not be a cause of fear or despair, but only an opportunity for awakening and initiative, because we are perfectly responsible for what happens to us and our world, just as there are cohorts of demonic beings who control what happens on earth by using those they attract to their ranks. There are also countless luminous spiritual beings who can help us overcome this critical point, but these beings respect our free will. And no one will intervene, neither Christ nor other beings of light, to save us if we do not ask for it, and above all, if we do not open the door through our own initiatives and actions. This is the very reason I composed my latest book and run this series. The link I shall leave below. We live in the days prophesied and written of thousands of years past, and we must rise to meet their stature. Our world can only be redeemed by its transformation. There is no other way. This becomes possible when we cease to shrink from these matters, daring instead to address them in the light of spirit, and unite all who perceive the spiritual reality, transcending every division between us. For we are not each other's foes. There is but one adversary, the great adversary, and his weapon by which he subjugates humanity is materialism. Let us uplift and support one another, and help our fellows to pierce the illusory materialistic veil, spun around us since birth. Matter is real, an expression and creation of the spiritual world itself. Yet materialism is the grandest illusion of all. It is a weapon 1,000 times more dangerous than the mightiest nuclear force, for it threatens not the flesh alone, but the spirit itself. The true battle, dear friends, is not for our bodies, riches, resources, or land. That is but a show. The great battle is for our spirits, and its hour is now upon us. May we be.